We don't have a guest today. Why is it working?
I don't hear anything.
Yeah.
Hello, is this thing on?
Hello.
Sorry, now we're experiencing some technical.
Is your earphones plugged in? Yeah.
Me? Yeah. I was like, wait, what?
I'm gonna
Like,
I don't know.
Oh,
Can you hear yourself? Do you think you lose?
No, I
them?
can't hear a thing. Oh, a little bit.
You'll have to. That's why
Hello?
you'll have to come in
Yeah,
closer.
yeah.
Okay, I can hear.
Or if
now.
you push in the chair, it's a.
I can hear you.
Hello. Yeah.
Welcome back to Everything from Nothing, Ireland's most
Vacant.
vacant podcast. That's a good one, vacant. So we were supposed to be joined by two people from Dublin who were passing through Thurles.
They fell asleep on the train, I believe.
I'd say so, yeah. I know I'd imagine so.
They're-
What?
They're in Cork, I hear.
Yeah, it's some other podcast probably. Fucking hell. Yeah, if it, but yeah, we're not what?
What?
Did you say something? Or
Someone's out there.
That's weird.
Someone's out there poaching podcast guests.
Yeah, they're trying to get there first. Yeah, we're here with no guest because they didn't show up. But yeah, we're just gonna try, and that might happen a few times. So we're just gonna test it and see if we can do one and just talk about stuff anyway. We have more guests coming, and they're gonna be good. And what were we just talking about? We were talking about when Owen's editing the podcast, fucking. I could hear. I keep thinking Owen when I was at home. I kept thinking Owen was talking to me, and I'd go in and it was your voice. When he was editing, I was like you on the computer sound like Owen in real life, and I was like, Owen kept calling me.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Wow.
So.
Are you sure Owen isn't just like dubbing over my voice?
Yeah, just to confuse me.
Perfectly matching everything I say.
Yeah, it's a lovely day today, isn't it?
Beautiful. So what have you been doing all week?
What I've been doing all week, I've been just working on things.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
Really hard, like.
Not really hard, really. I don't know.
Have you been productive? Have you made a list at the start of the week?
I've been productive. I hadn't made a list. I did make it mentally, and I checked it twice.
Did you make a list, Stevie?
No, not this week. No.
Okay. Were you productive this week?
I played a fair bit of music. Kind of still trying to figure out how to play jazz.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Actually, we might get some jazz later on.
Oh yeah.
Off Stevie, yeah.
Oh no.
That would be cool.
We have to fill in the space.
We're going to sacrifice you, Stevie. You're first to go.
I'm still trying to get the hang of jazz. That doesn't mean I'm ready to play jazz.
Oh, we were listening to it last week. It was pretty good.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was going to say, have you been productive? Have you making any lists?
But I made no list, and I wasn't that productive. Well, I got some stuff done, but not as productive as I should have been. Like, but
Yeah.
I reckon starting on Monday, it's a list, and I got rid of. I was doing things I didn't really want to do.
Yeah, you have to do that.
And now that they're nearly done, I'm kind of feeling positive. So now it'll be I'm on fire, like
Yeah.
a steam train, slowly, and then it gets faster.
And once it's going, it can't be
there's
stopped.
no stopping. Yeah.
No stopping it.
Are steam trains generally like on fire? Was that a thing? Or?
I don't know. Like the heat is definitely up. The steam is driving it on.
Hey, do you know who invented the steam train?
James Watt or something, wasn't
Go ahead.
You're right.
Stevenson's rocket.
That's it.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Or maybe it wasn't Watt.
don't know.
I can't remember. It was definitely Stevenson's rocket. But
With his name, Big Stevens.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking now. As soon as I said it, but for some
Yeah.
reason I thought it was James Watt or
They had
something.
steam cars as well.
Did it?
Yeah.
What the fuck? What?
Yeah.
They'd just be throwing in coal into
I
the
don't
back.
know.
You'd have
Do
the
you know-
kids in the back putting
Yeah,
coal or
exactly.
something.
I can't remember the exact speed, but the first ever car crash, the speed, it was something like 8 kilometers an hour where someone was killed.
Oh.
Like
Oh.
someone got hit by a car going 8 kilometers an hour and they died. And it's bad, like that how far it's come. That thing.
Oh, do you know, I had a fear, and then I don't know if I ever said it before, but my biggest fear when I was younger, when I was crossing the road on my own, was that they had invented invisible cars, but nobody told me.
Okay.
And that they never made a sound. So this was when I was like 6 or 7, and I'd be standing there like there's no way they've invented invisible
No,
cars.
they would have told you.
But what if they didn't? That was all I was thinking. I would be terrified to cross the road in case I just get hit by
It
it.
was a big thing when we were kids, getting knocked down like everybody.
Oh yeah, it was
It was
the
very
trend.
popular. Yeah, it was very popular.
Kids these days are all on Facebook. We used to get knocked down.
Yeah, did you ever get knocked down? I got knocked down.
No, you really did,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just singing like Toe Thumping by Chumbawamba in my head now. Like I get
Like,
knocked
I
down,
know.
I get back up.
Did you get back?
I got back up again. My get knocked down story was when we were kids. We used to sell match programs outside the
Temple
stadium. Yeah, so like
hurling
you
matches.
sell 100 programs and you get a tenner. So that was great. So you had to get the best spot. So
Would you sell them easy?
Not too bad.
Was that days work kind of?
It was kind of it was like the steam engine thing. It would start off slowly and then you're on fire.
Yeah.
But like, so you had to get the best spot. So I had a BMX and I had a big fucking bag full of programs, and I cycling down from the Anna or down the hill, booting it on my BMX, and the flipping bag went into the spokes, and I fell out in front of this Honda car, and I went over the roof and back down the other side.
Jesus!
And all I was thinking, I was so focused on my spot that I was just thinking, I haven't time for this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, and I remember the
Having
guy.
time for getting knocked down.
I remember the guy, he was a tourist or something. He was a foreign guy. I think he was Indian or something. He came out, oh, sorry, you okay? And I was like, fuck off. And I back up on my BMX and cycled off. I was just thinking, he's getting between me and my spot outside Temple Stadium. I was so focused that I didn't really feel the pain until I got up there, and then my leg was bleeding, and I started crying outside the stadium in pain. But I sold the stuff like hotcakes.
Jesus!
I think they pitied the kid with the bleeding leg outside Temple Stadium.
And the busted bike.
Yeah. But yeah, that's like keeping your eyes on the prize. You know what I mean?
Jesus Christ!
The closest I came to crashing on a bike was I was just cycling around. It was like my old school. Like I would have been, I say, younger than 12 anyway. Yeah. But like we used to just go up to the school like and cycle around and stuff. Just. But one of the lads I was with one day just found a car tire and decided to just roll it out in front of me, and I didn't see it, and I just went flying into the car tire and just went head first over the bike and landed in a rose bush and just cut my face. It was
Shit, man.
It was very funny though, like to be honest, like because it just when those things happen and you just remember them in slow motion, and just the idea of just seeing a tire just slowly rolling in front of me.
Jesus.
When we were kids, the sugar factory was going on, so there used to be a beet campaign every year. So the whole town would be full of trucks bringing beet to and from the factory. So, and all the bicycle shed was full of bikes. They were in little BMXs and stuff. And your thing was to get a backie home from school off the back of a truck.
No way.
So you go up behind the truck and just hold on to it, and your man would know you're there, and he'd be beeping the horn and stuff, and you'd be like keeping the head down.
That's bad.
But people, when they got knocked down, they got hurt. Like,
Yeah.
Something you said there just kind of reminded me of a really terrible joke.
what?
It's like, why did the farmer become a DJ after a terrible harvest season?
I don't know.
Because he had a load of sick beats.
Oh, very good. That is classic, and it's relevant.
See you next week.
And it's relevant to Thurles,
Oh, I definitely got busted on a bike. Oh yeah, mother, I was mad actually. I was just saying to my mother, I was like, did I actually remember the first time cycling a bike really young, and the first time, and I told her, I was like, I have the memory of when I first started cycling, and I kept falling over, and then she was like, oh, I remember that. She was like, you didn't keep falling over though. There was a little girl half your age just knocking you over, like coming up and pushing me. And I was like, wow. Like, and my mother was like, I was crying and stuff. I thought I was crying because I just couldn't do it or something. Yeah. But I was like, did my brain actually just blank that out? Because I have a full memory of like me just falling out, like as if a ghost was pushing me. Like, did my memory like block out the fact that a little girl half my age was pushing me over on a bike?
Do you know who that girl is now?
I do, yeah.
And you
I'm calling her out now on this podcast. What you did when you were 3 was horrible.
was wrong. I think you should bring it up with her. I think we should ring her.
Get her on.
You know what? We're going to ring her. What's her number?
086.
Oh.
What the
8. Oh man, it's going to take too long on this thing, isn't it? 6. Yeah. Well, what's the rest of it?
419.
Oh shit! Hang on a second.
You're getting a call. That's her.
This is her.
We're getting
Back in a second.
No worries.
I think one of the most ridiculous accidents I ever saw on a bike. It wasn't that bad, but it was just really funny. It was like one of my friends was cycling a bike, and I was at a go-kart behind him, and he just slipped off the bike backwards. So it's like, but as he slipped, the saddle like ended up pulling his pants down. So he just landed like bare arse cheeks onto the tire.
Oh no way! That's like a magic trick. That's kind of impressive.
But like after it happened, all he could turn around and say was, "It's like that's one way to use emergency brakes."
Oh god!
No, it's just his only reaction. But like it was just so weird to see it.
That's like a fucking really weird circus trick or something. That's weird. I don't know. One thing we used to do is it was probably really weird as when we were younger. One of the lads had a car and just driving around fields and stuff, and we used to, for some reason, think it was fun to drive past loads of nettles with our like just back with no t-shirt on it. And that was pretty much it. It wasn't that fun at all. Like, it was just like, but that's so bad, you know. Like, I was thinking about that the other day. All weird stuff we would have done when we were younger, like silly, stupid stuff. It's pure like, because there's literally nothing else to do, and that's so weird that when like kids are just going out of their way to put themselves into danger because they're bored. It's kind of weird, really.
Yeah,
I think Jackass had a massive influence of all that weird shit.
oh
like.
definitely, yeah.
Where did you grow up again?
Drum.
Was there any fucking people performing Jackass stunts out there in Drum?
No, yeah, I would have seen bits and pieces of it, and I would have tried to do stunts and stuff, but I just was never any good at it. That was before I was afraid of heights, though, so it was a lot easier. Like.
Yeah. So you weren't afraid of heights, and now you are?
Oh yeah. It was
no
like
way.
I could pinpoint the exact moment I became afraid of heights.
Really?
It was I can't remember how old I was, but I was in secondary school anyway, and we went on.
Very annoyed with
I think it was secondary school.
She.
Yeah, she said that you pushed her off the bike first. Yeah.
Really? I'm
Stop
speechless.
ringing on the landline.
She said what she said.
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
I know, she's all right. She was okay. She calmed down there when I talked to her. Explained the whole situation. It's all
Okay,
cool.
that's good. Right, we won't call out her phone number live on this podcast. So.
Okay.
08941933032. We were just talking about Stevie can pinpoint the exact moment he became afraid of heights.
Did
It was like a school, because I was always climbing trees and everything as a kid, like, so I was fine with heights. Like I'd climb up a tree and jump across the next tree and kind of go along a ditch that way, like.
Wow.
But then I was on a school trip in secondary school. I think it was secondary school anyway, and we went to Bunratty Castle, and they give you like those flyer things, like the maps and stuff. I had one of them in my hand, and like I was looking out the top of Bunratty Castle, and it fell out my hand. And without thinking, I just leaned over to grab it, and only for like one of the lads I was in school with grabbed me and pulled me back. Like I would have been gone. But ever since then, I can't even climb a stepladder.
That's absolutely rational. That's absolutely.
If you stood up in that chair now, would you be scared?
Chairs are not too bad, but like I don't know. When it comes to like if I get to the top of a stepladder, my legs start to shake. Like I'm not able for it.
Wow.
Whoa. And that's mad, like. And so would you have known, like, so any time before then, like, that's funny because normally, fear of heights, I don't know, I've never heard of pinpointing before. I've never heard, have you any fears?
Are you afraid of heights?
I'm afraid of elevators.
Of what? Elevators?
And it's literally the only thing I'm not that much anymore until recently because
I hate going down too quick in an elevator. Have you done that?
that weird, like, like butterflies rising in your stomach.
I hate it.
That's mad. Yeah, I'd say I'd never been on one in like a skyscraper or that, like if I went to the Eiffel Tower, I'd walk up every step.
I went up the Twin Towers, up to the top of the Twin Towers before.
Did you?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
And I stuck my head out, the gap, like the windows like that. And I was leaning forward, and I was imagining if this fell over. I was thinking to myself, now I know it did fall over and all that, but I was just thinking, like, this is mad. And imagine I wasn't actually scared because it was so high up, it didn't seem real. You know what I mean? I'm actually more scared of things that are kind of lower, that are more realistic, that you really are going to hurt yourself.
Oh, because if you fall off the tower, like, or like a building that big, I suppose you don't want to.
Cliffs of Moher scare me.
In case
I wouldn't go anywhere near the edge. I stood a couple of feet back.
Yeah, same here. And I hate people then think it's hilarious. You know what I mean?
No, because if you...
Oh yeah, that was the thing when you go up heights. That thing, did you ever say, save your... Or there's like someone with mess, right? And they grab you. Tell your mother saved your life. And they'd pull you back. So they push you and they pull you back. Say, tell your mother saved your life. But then... There's the other thing then, and say, tell your father I didn't, and then actually push you. But it wouldn't be off the cliffs of Moher, no, it'd be off like 6 foot wall or something.
Someone I know did that with someone on Devil's Bit. They were off out near the edge of the Devil's Bit looking down, and they just like pushed them and pulled it back. It's like, tell your brother I said
Jesus fucking Christ.
Well,
off the cliffs of Moher.
No, Devil's Bit.
Still, what though?
It was like, the rocky part of Devil's Bit, so like if you'd actually fallen,
you are dead.
You're fucked. Like, it's as bad as cliffs of Moher.
I went climbing up in, what's that amphitheatre thing called in Kilkenny?
Oh, Ballykeefe.
Yeah, I did. I went with a kind of climbing group or something. I didn't really know them well, but I was talking, of course, and they were all climbing up wherever they were, and they were being led by the guy who knew what he was doing, and I wasn't listening or paying any attention. And then they were all up there, and I'd missed it, so I had to follow them up. I went up the wrong way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was halfway up, and I really couldn't get up or get down.
No
and I
way.
just felt so scared, and my legs went to jelly. And I was like, and I said to John O'Dwyer, he was the guy that was running, I said, I think I'm kind of stuck. And I was looking as well. I said, like, even the fire brigade couldn't get me down now. I'm up so high.
Yeah,
You know, and I just felt so weak, and my hands felt weak and sweaty and all that. And he kind of guided me. He said, just keep going straight up, even though there's gorse and shit there. Just keep going through it. And I did. Oh, it was frightened the living crap out of me, yeah.
That's mad. It reminds me, like, the gorse and stuff. It's like, me and Darrow and the lads, we were down in... What's the name? It's in Waterford. It's Dunmore East.
Oh,
Dunmore East. And it was like because he used to be in the circus, like, and
Who was?
Dara, his friend, and
What did he do? Like,
him and one of the other lads used to dress. They did. It was like a small circus that did like smaller places, but they used to do a few different things. But one of them dressed up as Minnie Mouse and the other Mickey Mouse, and did a few other things. But like
he was in the circus. That's so cool.
Yeah. And I can't remember the name of the circus, but yeah, we went up there to stay there. We like slept under the circus tent and everything, and we stayed up there that night. But the next morning, me and Dara and a few lads went out to the cliffs.
Yeah.
Or me and Dara like loved climbing, and all the lads there, in fairness, loved climbing. But I think we loved doing the things that would be like, oh, like, will we survive kind of thing. And we looked down this, so we all walked around, and then it got to the part where it's just like the part where me and Dara were questioning, should we go down? Because, so right, it's like, how to explain it? It's like a little cove that's right in against the cliffs.
Yeah.
But to get down it, you know, the one thing you know for sure is if you get down here, you can't get back up this way.
Okay.
And all you could see, like, is cliffs, and on all the cliffs you could see, none of it looks like a place you can get back up.
Okay.
But we were like, okay, but it looked like it was a beautiful walk, one of the nicest experiences of my entire life, and it was well worth it. But we jumped down anyway. Okay, we're like, oh, we're here now, and started walking around, and we're like, oh, okay, there really isn't anywhere to get back up. Went for ages. The only point we got where it was slightly, because it was all kind of like that, like it was like, you know, we done loads of free climbing, but we found one that was more like that. Yeah. But it was covered in nettles. It was shit, so we climbed back up, grabbing onto nettles, just gorse, thorns, everything, just climbing up. We get back up on top, and we're on a golf club, and there's like lads with golf sticks being like,
what are these lads down here?
Well, I won't say what I did next, but yeah, then it was mad. We were just up on top of a golf course, and it was impressive. It was
that reminds me of a thing we used to do in Newquay. So like we're in Plymouth, living in Plymouth, and Newquay's just down the train tracks. Is it gone? Is it?
My headphones are gone again. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But
it doesn't matter. But we used to head down to Newquay surfing or whatever, and then going out in the tear.
Yeah,
is it working? Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. We used to go down to Newquay anyway on the tear, so we brought a tent and cans and stuff, and we got the train from Plymouth down to Newquay, and we were going to set up the tent. Then we didn't bother. We just went drinking. Yeah. We decided we'd do it later on, like, so we were absolutely hammered, and we were going along the beach looking for somewhere to pitch the tent, and then just went up around the dunes and shit, and I found this perfectly flat garden thing like that, like level piece, and I said, right, this is perfect. So geez, we set up the tent and everything, and there a little fire there and cans and all, to have it our little party there was brilliant anyway. So we all went to sleep in the tent. Next thing, they're here kind of shouting and stuff. I stuck my head out the window of the tent, you know, or the little thing. Let's get out of here. We're on a golf course.
I know.
We're up on the green, and we see lads shaking their golf clubs and screaming at us. I've never seen a tent come down so quick. Us just running.
That's funny. So did you set up in the night time, was it?
Yeah,
and you didn't know?
Yeah, we walked along the beach and then came back up over these dunes. We didn't know where the hell we were really.
That's funny. Have you ever gone camping? I know you went to festival. Have you ever gone camping like?
Oh, we used to camp in the Devil's Bit a bit. Like.
Did you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what's that like? Good.
That's good crack. Yeah.
Who was that? You and like lads or whatever?
Yeah, a good few like James.
Went there? No.
Jimbo and that.
No, James from Strings and.
Like, on later.
Yeah. James from what?
And like
Strings and things.
Yeah, just a good few lads. You know, Aaron Debry or Barry Debry. Yeah.
Would you cook food up there?
Not really. No, I don't.
Yeah.
We just kind of go up there camping, and it's not. It is actually a nice spot to camp because it's not the hardest thing to climb, but it's also not it's enough of a climb that you just feel like you've actually done something.
Definitely, yeah. The rock is definitely. I think when.
I love the rock part. I love when you get to a certain part where it's like you have the choice of following the path, or you can just climb up the rocks. I'll always choose climbing the rocks.
Can you camp there? No, on the rock.
Not on the rock. I wouldn't camp at the rock because the wind should be gone.
Okay.
Yeah, you're on a strap on.
And come here. I'm fast. These lads were in the circus. How did they get in the circus?
Someone in Thurles like knew Dara and. Yeah, I don't know. He's one of the lads from Thurles' cousin. They were cousins with like circus folk, and
that's mental.
Yeah, they went there, but yeah, they did loads of traveling around.
Have any of you been to the circus lately? No,
not in a while.
No. I was in it. I was at it last year. It was brilliant.
Which one was it?
It was the one out by the race course. It was called
Duffy's or Fawcett's.
It was called. I don't know. It was like the motorbikes going around on.
The cage.
Yeah, that kind of thing. And then even they had this thing kind of that went around like, and one was running around the outside of these, it was kind of like that was called hamster wheel. That's the thing.
That's mad.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, and they did a really cool techno light show thing.
No way.
Yeah.
That's cool. Did you remember the circus in the cattle mart up by Oakfield? The circus used to be up there. Do you remember that one? Yeah. Good, because I always have to double check. I'm
so not it wasn't a trick.
I have lots of dreams. I have to actually find out.
Was it good?
Yeah, there was loads of them. Like that was the place before the dog track. They used to use the cattle mart, like, and the fun fair would be there as well. Like, that was all before the dog track. But
did you find the clowns funny?
I did, but this one, right? This is the most bizarre thing I've seen. The cattle mart in Thurles. There was kangaroos in the cattle mart.
That's class.
They wanted the circus brought over kangaroos, and like that was our first time, my only time. What am I saying? First time, the only time I seen kangaroos. Yeah, we were sneaking all around because they were out the back, like. And it's like, so the first time and the only time I've seen kangaroos was in the cattle mart. The cattle mart. So something about that. But yeah, what were you saying about the clowns?
Oh, you just find them funny?
Spooky. I find them funny. I don't know.
I was kind of scared of that shit as a kid. Like,
it's demented. It's fucking demented.
I've always wondered.
This man has a funny face. I kind of felt sorry for him. That his face.
Why is this funny? Yeah,
it's an unfortunate face and his unfortunate feet.
Yeah,
and unfortunate clothes. Yeah, I like that. I like the tightrope walking and all that crack.
Yeah.
I've always wondered with clowns, though. It's like loads of people are afraid of them. Like, is it one of those things where it's like, are people like naturally afraid of them, or is it a case of because it's so common to be afraid of them that people learn that?
I think so.
I was afraid. Like when I was a kid, I was afraid of like cartoon characters or shit. Like as in meeting them in real life. You know what I mean?
Oh no way.
So like they were cool on the telly, like, but in real life they're like. That can't be real. Like, what was it? Wanderly Wagon and stuff like that, and Bosco.
Just be afraid of going up to Tesco there.
I don't want to meet them. Like,
I don't know. Lenny from The Simpsons used to appear in my dreams. The whole time.
You were afraid of Bosco as well.
Bosco, was I?
Yeah. Well, like
probably I would have been. I can imagine.
I've never watched Bosco.
I am now anyway.
I asked my nephew about Bosco the other day.
Why? What?
I said, like, do you know Bosco? He goes, yeah. I said, do you like it? And he goes, it's okay. But he said the 2% are a bit creepy.
So the puppet isn't.
Yeah, the puppet is fine, but he didn't like the 2%ers.
That's funny. There's a photo of me on the phone when I was like 4, and like in Dungarees and stuff, in my grandmother's house on the phone, and I was on the phone. One of them like phone, I was on the phone to Saki. They told me I have Saki. I was Saki from the den. I was obsessed with him, like, and apparently he was on the phone to him, and like see it in the picture, I was like, there's a young lad now that actually thinks he's on the phone to Saki.
What, you don't think you were?
I wasn't, no, they told me I was. It wasn't at all. I was like, why do, like, you could have just, told me I was. You didn't ever have to reveal the truth to me.
I know. Like, but my cousins lived up in Monkstown then. I think that's why I was afraid of all this crap. And they live near where Wanderly Wagon was made, and what else was made there? Lambert's Puppet Theatre, and they said, come down, you can meet all the people from Wanderly Wagon. I was going, no fucking way. Like there was an evil wizard and shit like that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Why would you want to meet?
Putting yourself in the line of danger straight away. You know what I mean?
That's funny.
Yeah, so I think I asked them would the wizard be there, and they told me he would. So I said, no fucking way, man.
Yeah.
We're staying here. And they were so like disappointed that I wouldn't go. Like, as in, come on, because we can get you in. I was going, no, man.
When you're a kid, you're just like, why are you trying to bring me to such danger? Like,
you know
You're supposed to love me. You're supposed to care
those
for me.
tricks that wizard gets up to, like.
That's funny.
Yeah, so I think I didn't trust any of that shit after that,
Were you any afraid of any, like, I suppose, afraid of anything aesthetically, I suppose, like clowns, spiders, that kind of thing? I think that fear of heights is fairly normal.
I don't know. I think I wouldn't be afraid to, like, there's nothing that I can look at like a picture of and be afraid of. It's like even when it comes to I'm not good around animals, like, that, like, and it's like every animal in general, if it comes near me, I'll run.
Serious?
Oh yeah. Like if a dog comes near me, I
love dogs.
Do this, like I can't. I just it's, I don't know, it's like an autism thing and a personal space thing. I'm just not able for. Yeah. But like same like insects, like I can look at an insect and be like, oh, that looks really cool. As soon as it flies near my face, gone. Yeah. But I can look at pictures of animals and stuff. So like,
and you like to, like, you can look at
them. I watch cat memes and dog memes the whole time. Like, it's like I get great enjoyment out of that, but just I don't like being near them. It's the sensory overload of the smells, the sounds, the touch. Like,
what about the echoey sound in a swimming pool? Does that bother you?
What? The echoey sound?
Did you ever go into when I remember as a kid the first time going into a swimming pool, or probably whatever, maybe it wasn't my first time, but just the screaming and the echo.
I know it's that sound actually. Yeah,
it is a bit kind of. It's not the worst though. It's kind of.
I don't mind that.
I find I don't know, the most offensive thing sensory wise for like in a swimming pool is the smell of chlorine.
Oh yeah.
It's very very pungent. Like
that's reasonably. That's a reasonable. What you say? It's pungent.
Yeah.
What's that mean again?
Strong, like, is it?
Well, we say welcome back to Everything from Not Ireland's most pungent podcast.
Isn't that like, I could be wrong? Doesn't that mean just like
strong
it's usually really strong smell? Like, is it like,
but not pleasant, not in a
good way.
You know
like when you smell something and it like nearly it nearly like tingles your nose. It's that strong of a bad smell.
Oh
like.
Yeah.
So it's Ireland's most pungent.
Can we do like like the 4D
smell-o-vision? Yeah,
that'd be weird. The first smell podcast.
I went to something like that, a cinema like that. Where did I do that? And they'd squirt you with water and shit like that when it was raining. The seats moved.
Is that not getting your NCT? Did they not do that when you're getting your NCT?
That was where it was, exactly. I
feel like
Archerstown,
Oh my god, I feel like people would enjoy their NCT if you could go there and there's a bit of a water fight going on. Did you like water fights?
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah. What kind of
when we were in college, like when we were in uni, we used to have water fights. Yeah. As in first year, like, so we were in these halls of residence and it was all balconies looking out into a courtyard and stuff like that, and you just kind of like, it was like for play war. It was such a good use of your student education. Yeah, like they had like water. There was Toys R Us shop nearby us, so we like water. I didn't have water cannons, so I was on the ground floor, which was a distinct disadvantage. Whereas the lads up on the other floors were like with their water cannons and stuff like that, and water balloons and all that kind of crack. Yeah. And then there was a security man that they used to drive him mental, just try and bomb him without him knowing and all that crack.
Yeah. You know all that, all those like that thing in New York, like, which was a real thing, but it's all in that movies, that proper boss New York, where the kids just break open the fire hydrant, they're all dancing around. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Hey, you have any ghost stories? Do you believe in ghosts or spooks or fucking?
I wanted to. As a kid, I was like really obsessed with trying to prove ghosts were real.
That's cool.
Like I did like all those things, like saying Bloody Mary in a mirror and like all that kind of stuff. Like, if someone was like, "Oh, I saw a ghost in such and such a place," I'd go there. Like there was a house in Drum called Brookley, like, and it was just an abandoned house, but there were so many ghost stories around. Like the one that was always said was, "Oh, it belonged to." Well, the one we would have heard, I know, was like it belonged to a bishop, and he got married and had a kid, and God was angry at the fact that he had got married and had a kid. So he made the daughter like sleepwalk into the pond, and she died.
Jesus Christ.
And people were saying, "Oh, if you go down there at like 10:30 at night or 11 at night, whatever, you'd see her." So like it was one night, a few of the lads I knew from school were there, and like, "Oh, go on, we'll go down to Brookley." And as I got closer to that time, I was just like, "No, come on, let's stay here." They were like, "No, I don't know, I want to go." And I was like, "No, I just need to see if she does actually appear." I was just pure obsessed with trying to prove.
Yeah.
So I don't believe now, but I'd love to be wrong.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Shining.
The Shining, yeah.
Tell him to feck off and don't be annoying me.
Don't be annoying me. Yeah, that's it.
Like I've had a lot of weird experiences with sleep paralysis. Like, and some people, like the one I get most often is The Visitor, the one where it's like you wake up and it looks like there's a shadowy figure standing beside you.
Yeah,
and it's terrifying.
It is.
Really cool though. I do kind of enjoy it in a weird way. Like it's like you don't enjoy it at the time, but looking back and it's like,
no.
I actually love sleep paralysis, like, because I went through, I had so much that kind of like, I figured it out as well, like, for anyone listening experiencing sleep paralysis, because you are conscious at the time, and it's like, how do I get out? That you're wiggling your fingers and toes, try and do that. I don't know what it is, but I think it's just because, yeah, when you're sending your brain the signals to move these parts first, it's the like smaller nerves or something, and that like triggers everything, and you can actually feel your body coming awake. It's really bizarre. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have that, but what I used to have is like a not kind of night terrors thing where you'd run around the house with your eyes open.
Okay.
So like you're mixing like
sleep running.
Yeah. So it's like, so you're mixing like
vodka with whiskey.
You're mixing real life with the dream.
Yeah.
So it's a montage of, and what used to be really freaky is when you'd wake up, you'd actually wake up in the same spot as you are in the dream, which made it
that sounds like sleep paralysis, different
Is
versions
it?
of
Okay,
it.
okay.
Because that's one I've had loads of times, and you literally feel yourself going back into your body, and you're like here again and stuff like.
Did you used to turn off the light and sprint up the stairs?
Yeah.
I still do that.
What do you mean, turn off the light?
Like when you're going upstairs, you're the last person going to bed. Like you turn off the switch and then you sprint upstairs because you think someone's chasing you.
Yeah.
I genuinely still do that. Like I can't, like, even like if I'm home alone, like, and like no one else is in the house, I will literally, when I close my bedroom door, I'll put something heavy at the door, like a washing basket or something, so that if someone came in, it would knock over. I check under the bed, I check the wardrobe. I don't know what it is, just.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm not able for it. Like I just have to constantly make sure there's nobody in the room. Like.
But you know when you get into bed, that's when they get in under your bed. Like you'd have to put the head down and check again.
Scene in the Grudge, you know the scene in the Grudge where your one is lying in the bed and she just pops up over the duvet and she's right like an eye contact. That scared the shit out.
Sometimes though I'd be so lonely, I just kind of want it.
Oh come on, so
I just want that white face, like Grudge looking. Oh my God. That's something I actually always wonder. Why do you think, like, it's fairly, you can understand the evolution or the purpose
ghosts.
behind fears of heights and spiders and stuff like that. But why is it like in movies that sunken, that white face and the like sunken eyes that all these horror movies portray? Like, why are we collectively
I think it's
afraid of
because
it?
we, like, as humans, like, we do kind of, like, recognizing faces is a big part of, like, how we communicate and stuff.
Okay.
Even, like, it's the same reason why, like, when you're lying in bed and it's kind of slightly, like, it's kind of a dim room, like, kind of dark but not fully pitch black,
Yeah.
you'll see faces because that's what your brain is looking for. So I think when you see a face with sunken eyes and stuff like that, it's like it resembles a face, but you can't fully relate to it because it doesn't look like a real face.
It's like a creature you don't know, really.
Yeah.
You're just not familiar, like.
Yeah, so it's like, it's
it's
familiar enough to be recognized as a face, but not familiar enough to be comfortable.
That's actually, because there's lots of fears that come from like not being familiar. It's like there will be more people afraid of spiders in Ireland than maybe Australia, like per ratio, because they're used to them over there.
When it comes to the fear of the unknown, like the biggest fear in humans is the fear of unknown. Like most fears,
That's true.
Like, are
The fear of unknown.
unknown.
Unknown, yeah, the opposite of own.
Fear of, like, you don't know what it's like.
But they're not afraid of Owen though.
Yeah.
People are actually afraid of ghosts. Afraid of what they're going to do.
Yeah.
I've always thought though, like if like based on the way people tell ghost stories and stuff, like if ghosts were real and I became a ghost, I think I'd probably find more entertaining things to do than to just move a curtain.
Yeah.
Or like, it's just like, or like pull a chair or something.
Man,
I think I'd be throwing shoes at people. I'd be a poltergeist, like.
I'll do your taxes. If you subscribe to this podcast, when I pass away, I'll do your taxes.
Cool. It'd be useful, ghost.
Yeah, I'll just be doing like remedial tasks. Is that what it's called? You know that word?
Menial.
Menial.
Like, can you imagine just like,
Remedial is for like.
Wait, I don't know.
imagine being a poltergeist and just do like really small things that over time would get to someone. Like, I don't know, just like when they go to bed, take the milk out and leave it on the counter, and like, or like chop like a tiny bit off the chair when they go to sleep. So like over time, their chair just gets really small and they don't know why.
Man, yeah, I already
I like,
do
the,
that
I
stuff,
like that
right?
idea, doing something very minor that they only notice after a while.
I got the idea from there was a Roald Dahl book called Twits.
Wow.
Oh, I
And
read that.
there was like a bit where like I can't remember if it was your man or your wand. Was it basically this couple who hated each other? Like,
Yeah.
like, and they're just like really kind of vicious to each other. But like, so it was I can't remember which was which. One of them had a walking stick in it, and the other one, every time they went to bed, they'd get a little bit of timber and glue it to the bottom of the walking stick.
Oh, wow.
So after a while, they were convinced they were shrinking.
I love it.
Roll that like what?
We were in school. I remember we used to, the Christian brother used to tell us to stand out in the corner there, right? So we used to have this thing that you'd try and get to the other side of the room very gradually. Why doing that? Just move a little tiny bit, and then move a tiny bit, and do it. And by the time the class is over, you're over to the other side, and he has hardly noticed. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's funny, yeah. I used to love doing things like that, yeah. Just even when you're younger, just like switching seats when the teacher wasn't looking. It's just like they just don't notice. And something about it was so amusing and satisfying to do.
What he used to do then is he used to draw an X on the wall, and you'd keep your nose against the X because he knew we were at it. Like,
no way, Jesus fuck's sake.
Clever way to combat it, though, to be fair.
Yeah.
What if you had like if you had an X as well,
rub it out, yeah. Move the X.
A piece of paper with an X drawn on it.
That's funny. Have you any ghost stories? Do you believe in the old spooks?
I can't think of it now. Ghost stories. There's a picture in my room that makes noise. Like,
I remember you saying that. I watched that. Yeah,
just like I go, go on, so make noise, and I go, fuck. And
it does,
yeah.
Fuck's sake.
It just kind of creaks. And I go, that's enough. Perfect. Lovely. Thank you.
That's right. Go to bed now. Keep it down.
One of the funniest ghost stories I've heard, but like it was actually solved when they found out what it really was. It was like, I can't remember the name on it. It was a something giant or something.
Yeah.
And it was basically at a certain time, there was like a certain window of time at night where like there was this big massive giant that they could just see a shadow of like marching around. And like it looked like it was up on like the hills and stuff. And everyone was like, couldn't explain it for ages, and like everyone was seeing it. But what it turned out was whatever there was like there was some kind of stockyard or truck yard or something, and whatever way the lights were placed there in comparison to where the village or the town was, the night watchman or the security man, when he was walking around, when he got to a certain point, he'd be in front of the light, and it would just make his shadow appear.
Brilliant.
And before they figured out, they genuinely thought it was this giant wandering around the area. Like,
that's actually funny.
Just pure chance, like.
Yeah, there's so much of it is so explainable and just I don't know reason.
Have you've seen anything? Have you?
I haven't seen anything. I've seen really weird stuff in sleep paralysis. Just like how did the human mind even constructed that? But when me and Owen when we were younger, the one thing I do have, like I do think there was something weird about our house.
The old house.
Yeah, and we were living in Cabra, and then Cabra was built on a burial ground. We found out years later, like, which is weird, like, but whatever, like, but. In the house we were in, like, if I don't know what it was. Remember, one night there was like me, Owen, because we shared a room, me, Owen, and our other little brother, like 3 was in the one room, and like there was like this tapping on Evan's bed. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
And it was like this, and so it was like proper textbook movie because our auntie was over minding us, and I remember like it was like such textbook movie thing. We just kept hearing this tapping, and like me and Owen were like, we were even at a young age we were being very logical. We were like, okay, his bed is against the wall. If he's even breathing, he could be shaking it, and it could be tapping off it, and it could be this consistent. So we were very logical about it. We were pulling stuff out, pulled the bed away from the walls before we went into our auntie, and then, but as we'd go near it, it would stop, and then it was just really weird. It was happening for ages. Then like we were like, okay, it literally just makes no sense physically why this is happening. We can't figure it out, and so went in to get our auntie because we were like really freaked out because we were like fucking 10. I was going to Alton Towers next day at Duke Club, so it was like 11 or 12, but. Yeah, auntie came in and was just like, no, it was proper textbook, like, were you watching horror movies and stuff like that? And it was just like,
disappear then when?
Like when she was in there, it wasn't going, but I remember it just kept going all night. I remember being up all night and then eventually falling asleep and just waking up and being like, yay, Alton Towers is to this. I don't fucking give a fuck about fucking tapping, like, you know, Alton Towers. I don't know though, but what was it? There was something.
Oh yeah, when we were kids as well, we were out with this in this house out somewhere off near Clonolty or something, right? Our father told us about it. You know, they were doing some history thing, and there was a house out there where they used to have a pub in the basement, and during the time of like the Black and Tans and shit, and my father said like then they boarded it all up and it hadn't been touched, right?
Yeah.
So he was saying, do you want to go out there? He's going out meeting them and to talk about it or something like that. So. Went out there, we were like thinking we were going to open this pub for the first time like in 100 years or whatever, and we didn't get to go near the pub or whatever, but it's like that. But they started telling us all these fucking mad ghost stories, right? Yeah. And then just at the right point in the story, the dog started, no way. That's absolutely mental. I swear to God, we were like, what the fuck?
That's mad.
But even like the house they were lovely people and they're elderly. I'm sure they're probably passed on now, but just the whole thing was so fucking spooky.
That's mad.
But like, the dogs going howling and howling. They were telling us all these mad stories about the black and tans and all this.
Yeah.
But I actually must find out where the house is, because I wonder, is that basement still there and the pub still perfectly intact and all that kind of thing. There was a place where they used to hide out like from the tans.
That's mad. Fuck.
There was when I was in college in Maynooth, there's a ghost story associated with the university. Like it's on south because it's. I don't know if you've ever been on the campus, but it's like there's like a north and south campus. So it's like south campus is like the older part of the college, and the north campus is kind of newer, and it's like just divided by a road, and you have to cross over. Yeah. So south campus would be where all the priests are trained and stuff as well. Yeah. But years and years ago, there was like. When you still go there now, you'll see there's a bit like when you're walking down through South Campus, you'll see like a window covered in timber, just boarded up. And basically, what happened was it used to be what you call it, like accommodation for the priests or the student priests. And there was a guy in there, and he just ended up like killing himself or like slitting his throat or something. Okay. And they were just kind of like, Jesus. So they buried him on the graveyard. There's a priest graveyard on campus. Like you can go and actually. You can see them like, but that happened anyway, and they waited a while, and they're like, right, okay, and someone else moved in, and I think the same thing happened again.
The same room.
Yeah, and then they were like, I don't know what's going on, and then I think it was a total of 3 times, and the third guy ended up jumping out the window. Shit. And he said, like, when he was asked about it, he said there was like a demon in the reflection in the room or something, telling him to like slit his throat or something. And but like I think. So like it's really I don't know, because it's so long ago you don't know what really happened or anything, but at the same time you can just imagine for anyone who's inside that
you'll
building,
be fine. You'll be fine.
Because I've heard of people doing like masters or something. I think it's like, is it the history department or geography department or something was in that building. So like people could end up, when you're doing a master's, obviously you're staying late to study, so people could end up
sleeping in
being in that building. Not that room, but being in that building by themselves, and maybe just a security guard hanging around. And it's just like, you just imagine how terrified it is if you're actually told that story. Like,
that's mad. I'd say once you bring a packed lunch, though, you can.
I'd say you get really reasonable rent on that room, wouldn't you?
Probably, we'd hope so.
Oh yeah, they don't use it. It's not accommodation at all anymore. Now it's like it's just normal. I don't know, like apartment offices or something now. Like it's kind of, well, it could be. I haven't been there in a few years now, so it could be even different. But I remember everyone telling the story like it's pure. I think they tell it to you on not the open day, but the induction day, like the people giving the tour, be like, oh yeah, the famous demon room of Maynooth.
Yeah. How much like buildings go down in price if there's like a famous ghost story or ghost sign?
Yeah.
Someone died there.
Would that bother you? Like if you were buying a house?
That would sell it. That would be my buying point.
Yeah, you get a reasonable rate.
It's lonely. Like it's like no one wants to move into my house. Like I know. Fucking sticking.
Hey, look at that fucking bird on the roof. That's a mad bird. Is that a bird or a blue cat or what the fuck? Do you see that bird? Oh, it's a magpie.
Yeah.
It's gone.
It's a magpie with a blue tail.
I was being hassled by a wagtail there in Liberty Square. Did I tell you that?
Was he friends with the crow from last week?
I don't know. But like, cousin. He's very. I reckon it's the same guy.
Or it's his assistant. Sorry.
He's just like, he'd walk out in front of you and then you go around him and he goes over the other side.
There, yeah.
And I thought it was just me and I didn't say anything, but this old man said like, oh, he's fairly brazen, isn't he? So it wasn't just me that noticed it. This bastard is doing, he's his eye on me, like going up and down, like.
That's cool. Like, did someone else notice as well?
Yeah, I had to actually take a picture of him and ask someone what kind of a bird it was.
A wagtail.
Yeah, it's a wagtail. Yeah. So like just and I asked a friend of mine who's into birds about it, and he said, they're fairly cheeky bastards.
I think the most aggressive birds I've ever seen were, do you know Connolly Station in Dublin?
Yeah.
Some of the pigeons around there are the most aggressive pigeons I've ever seen. Like, I was there one day, like there was like a train every hour, and I'd missed the train because I just got there just too late. So I was just sitting around for like an hour to get the train, and like there was someone had left out food for the pigeons. Like, and there was just one particular pigeon that like it'd be eating food, and then another pigeon would be eating something. And right when I went to eat it, this pigeon would just go over and start pecking it, and it would just like go around in circles, just making sure
nobody had that.
Nobody else had any food. Like, I was just sitting there watching them for about an hour. Like,
smart.
Did you? Yeah.
I got attacked by a pelican. I got attacked by.
Oh, there's a photo. We have a photo. Can we get it up on the screen now?
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
That's funny.
There it is.
There's the photo.
What?
Literally.
That's you. That's you in that picture.
It's me. I'm in as well. Me and him are in it.
That's the two of you.
So the two of us are in it, and I'm just standing there, and this pelican is attacking Owen, and Owen's like running. It's really
funny. That is
funny.
a cool picture, man.
It's a really cool photo.
Wow. Jesus
And
Christ.
I got attacked by a seagull, robbed my hot dog over in Blackpool as well. Like,
Blackpool,
literally,
man.
Like one of them, do you know the 6-foot hot dogs?
Yeah.
Got one of them anyways, right
So
outside this little stall, like, and then all of a sudden, like, a seagull just came down. And then
That's
the
hard.
same fucking, like, holiday, like, another seagull took my sausage, remember that as well?
Yeah.
I got 2 sausages, like, there was
Yeah.
only 2
Birds.
sausages, I wasn't that hungry, like,
Shit.
Yeah.
one of them, like,
That's funny.
bastard.
All around southwest of England, Plymouth, all the seagulls are cheeky bastards.
Yeah.
Galway has, like, the biggest seagulls. in
Hey,
Ireland.
yeah, because I was just going to say that the seagulls in Galway are fucking massive. They're all outside like the biggest supermax.
Yeah,
They're all outside supermax, and they're just the biggest seagulls in the universe. Are just outside supermax. They're. Hey, anyone ever have any run-ins with a penguin? No.
No, I never met a penguin.
I've seen penguins, like, but
I think they'd be very controversial. Like, I think there'd be like, I don't know, I feel like, my dream was always, like, I still have this vision, this pictation of me someday walking past Tesco's in Thurles with, like, a penguin on a leash. And when people ask, like, just without ever telling, like, bringing any, like, you know, without ever speaking about it, just, like, you know, yeah.
just like if someone asked, be like, "What are you talking about? This is my dog."
Yeah, that'd be funny.
Are you okay?
Rover, come here.
Rover the penguin. Yeah, would you, if you could have like any animal as a friend, like just any, and no limits, like fucking be as big or small, like
Probably a monkey.
a monkey, yeah. Yeah, that'd be cool.
What about you? You don't like animals?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's kind of the worst person to be asked that question.
yeah, that's true. So,
An
but if you
invisible
had
animal.
to pick one,
Yeah, an invisible one.
Had to pick an animal.
a sea,
Dolphin.
what are they called?
Dolphin, because it'd be cool if you had, like, scuba.
Sea
Actually, if I pick sea creatures, then I wouldn't actually have to be in contact with them.
You sea monkeys.
Starfish.
You know what sea
I also
monkeys
hate
are?
the smell of the sea,
Oh.
though.
Do you know
so.
sea monkeys?
I used to have sea monkeys.
Did
Yeah.
you? Yeah. Well, they're handy, aren't
But
they?
like,
those little
they're
weirdo-
just they're
no,
just
Jesus
they're
Christ.
so pointless though.
Yeah, I know. I
Just
could-
like
They're
they're
weird.
just that size. Like,
Yeah, I
you-
know.
I don't-
Were they self-aware? Do you think? No.
Definitely not. No.
You do have personality.
Have a pet dolphin, like, you just ride around like a horse, like, and you're just
Go up
you know,
for that.
scuba gear on.
Yeah.
Country, like.
Up the river shore in Dolphin.
That'd look hilarious. Just wearing like scuba gear. Just
Have you
seeing
had
you hop out.
pets? Do you
We had dogs, yeah, but like I was never great with them.
do you like them? No.
Not really. Like I was not. It's like I'd never harm a dog. Like it's just I don't feel comfortable around them. You know, like no, but I always feel like I always feel like I have to clarify that because when I say like I don't like dogs, that it can sound like.
I know. Yeah.
But no, I just they're just very very.
You haven't met my dogs, man.
That's the exact answer. I get the.
But
whole
it's
thing.
really funny, like, hear you saying it, because that's just like anyone that knows you, like, you're just like the nicest people ever, and then it's just, yeah, if anyone that wouldn't hear and like someone say I don't like dogs, you just assume that like, how could someone not like dogs? But you're just nicest person ever. Yeah, it just sounds, there's nothing. It's really weird to say I don't like dogs, but like, yeah, as you said, because you instantly think like that you hate dogs, like that
Yeah.
You, I don't know, yeah.
It's like,
that's
oh,
funny.
what's wrong with you? What did you do to dogs? Like, why don't dogs like you?
yeah.
It's like a million questions, and it's just like, I don't know. It just be easier if I like dogs.
Hey,
definitely.
look, to be honest, they're weird. All I look at, like, I see a butterfly flying by me, and I just can't, like, that blows my mind. Like, these things, I don't know what it is, but like, I think we're just so familiar with them, but like, they're like fucking magic. Like, if you didn't have these things, and someone wrote a story about butterflies, people would be like, no, that's nonsense. Just like unicorns and all this
What
stuff,
do you
like,
mean, just like unicorns?
like as in like stuff that right. Like Ricky Gervais.
You don't believe in unicorns? Is that what you're telling us?
No, just like
No,
butterflies are pure mind blowing. Like
Yeah.
it's like it's the whole thing of like you just see something as a caterpillar, it disappears into a shell
So
for a few
cool.
days, and next thing it learns how to fly. Like
What
it does seem pure unrealistic.
What is the word for the day? What is the word where the caterpillar turns into? What?
Oh, metamorphosis.
Hey, there.
Metamorphosis.
Yeah.
Oh, I've done. Do you ever do that?
What?
Some metamorphosis.
I did. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait.
So.
I used to be blonde as a kid, and then
Oh.
I nearly ran
metamorphosis.
Did you?
I saved his life though. Like, I gave it a little bit of water.
Metamorphosis. Do
They're
you?
big fuckers. You ever see them big fluffy ones? Like,
Yeah.
I did. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Holly Molly's or Harry
Hairy
Molly's.
Molly's, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever metamorphose?
He did, yeah.
I did, yeah. I used to be blonde. And
Did
now,
you?
yeah. No, but I was actually blonde as a kid. Like,
Oh yeah, I didn't know that. That's mad.
no, there's pictures of me when I was very young. Just kind of, I used to like just climb into a coal bucket. It was like a coal bucket thing, and I just used to sleep in that. But
Wow.
there's a picture of me just covered in coal dust and blonde hair. Like,
That's mad. Hey, what color is my hair?
That's a question, isn't it?
kind of That's a question. I know, blondie brown.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because people have been telling me different things recently, and it's really confusing me. I'm really like.
I
Yeah.
reckon it.
what do you think it is?
I don't know anymore. I used to know who I
I reckon
was.
it depends on the context. I reckon.
I think people call it dirty blonde, but I don't never like that name.
But
I like that dirty blonde.
I
I make
reckon-
it feels like Clint Eastwood. For some
Yeah, I
reason.
reckon it
Dirty
depends on
Harry.
what's around you, what color your hair is. I reckon there's lots of different colors in it, and what's around you will decide what people think your color of your hair is.
I've just always said it's black. It's just, I know there's no such thing as black hair. It's just very, very dark brown. But like,
Yeah. I think we're gonna finish up now.